Moving on now, presidential polls in Turkey are now taking a turn in Erdogan's favor, is what we're learning. Millions of Turkish voters went to polls on Sunday to cast their vote in the presidential and parliamentary elections. A runoff election is looking increasingly likely between President Erdogan and his main rival after neither appeared to reach the 50% threshold. Erdogan, however, has maintained that he believed he has enough votes to win the first round outright, but that he would accept a runoff. He further added that several others are trying to deceive the nation by claiming that they were in the lead. Now, for the first time in 2 decades, these presidential elections pose a stiff challenge to the president, who is facing a serious erosion in popularity as well as electoral appeal. Turkey elections also come after a devastating earthquake in February that killed about 50,000 people. It displaced nearly 6 million, especially in southern Turkey. But people did come out and lined up outside voting booths so they could cast their ballot.
We have already surpassed our closest competitor by 2.6 million votes in the elections. I believe that this figure will rise much higher with the final results. We do not know yet whether the presidential election is over in the first round due to the 50+1% vote limit of our electoral system. If the decision of our nation shows that the elections have been completed, then there is no problem. Elections for the lawmakers of the Grand National Assembly of Turkey resulted in our People's Alliance winning the majority.
Turkey is headed for a runoff vote in 2 weeks' time after neither Recep Tayyip Erdogan or his main challenger Kemal Kilicdaroglu won an outright majority in Sunday's election. The results reflect the deep polarization in a country at a political crossroads. Erdogan has led the NATO member for 20 years, and the vote was seen as a verdict on his increasingly authoritarian path. Kilicdaroglu, who leads a 6-party opposition alliance determined to unseat him, urged his supporters to be patient and accused Erdogan's party of interfering with the counting and reporting of results. He said he will win in the runoff against Erdogan. Erdogan performed better than pre-election polls had predicted. He appeared in a confident and combative mood afterward, addressing his supporters in Ankara. He claimed to be millions of votes ahead of his competitor, but stopped short of declaring an outright victory. The election was held against the backdrop of soaring inflation and in the aftermath of devastating earthquakes. Now the country of 85 million people faces 2 weeks of uncertainty that could rattle markets. The question of who eventually becomes Turkey's next president will reverberate well beyond its borders. As one of Russian leader Vladimir Putin's closest allies, a defeat for Erdogan would likely unnerve the Kremlin but comfort the Biden administration, as well as many European and Middle Eastern leaders who've had troubled relations with Erdogan.